The face of a champion, Chad Reed. New machine, new team, but the same determination. Reed, now on a Kawasaki, returns with the resolve and the fortitude to solidify his place in the record books. Suzuki's Ryan Dungey, the phenom, riding a wave of momentum that saw him shock the world by taking the Supercross crown in this, his rookie year. His journey has brought him here to face off with Reed and a rejuvenated Mike Alessi, as well as the Honda tandem of Davi Millsaps and Andrew Short, along with a seemingly endless field of challengers, all seeking to stake their claim on the title. Now the Iron Men of Motocross begin the grueling struggle that will take them coast to coast to find a champion at the Rockstar Energy Drink Hangtown Classic. Just outside of Sacramento, California for the opening round of the 2010 Lucas Oil AMA Pro Motocross Championship. It's the Rockstar Energy Drink Hangtown Classic. Hello everyone and welcome to a brand new season. Jason Wygant joined by four-time AMA National Champion Jeff Emig, and we're here underneath the Rockstar Suzuki tent because all the pressure, all the attention right here on the number 5 of Ryan Dungey, who just a few weeks ago already delivered a Supercross championship on the big bike. Can he deliver again here in this new motocross tour?
Dungey can deliver, and I'm going to tell you why is because he's got the confidence. Fitness is there. We know the bike can do it, but mentally he is confident and he knows that he can beat everybody out there. But it's not going to be easy because we've got a host of returning riders into the championship this year and a bunch of riders that have been injured.
Yeah, Dungey won that Supercross title with 6 wins, but also a lot of consistency while other riders were out injured. A lot of those riders are back now for the motocross tour.
Well, and I think you have to look at last year's champion, Chad Reed, running the #1 plate this year, riding for Monster Energy Kawasaki. He's got to be motivated after missing, virtually all of the Supercross championship. So he's going to come back and want to duplicate that championship that he won last year. And then also you got Josh Grant, Mike Alessi in there, and Ben Townley, who's coming. We haven't seen him in a couple of years back into AMA Motocross. So it's going to be extremely exciting. And the thing is as we were watching the first round of practice, we noticed rider after rider go by, and we're saying, okay, that guy can be in the top 5 or possibly the top 10. And the deal is that there was way more than 10 riders that we were watching. So it's going to be really tough, for those echelons to first make the podium, then to be inside the top 5, and then inside the top 10. There's just so much competition this year, and a lot of riders have that drive and that belief that they can be up on top.
Yeah, that's what's going to make for exciting racing all season long, and we're going to get to it in a moment. But first, let's go down to the starting line with Aaron Bates and our Progressive pre-race report.
A lot of riders back from injury, but some major changes for the number 24, Brett Metcalfe, who comes in today making his first race in the 450 class. We just saw him during that first moto, took home a 5th place, but this happens to be the exact same engine that Kevin Windham had run. He said this bike suits his style, this track suits his style. He's feeling nothing but comfortable. The biggest change that he's had to adapt to is managing all the power, basically power control and also the handling of this. Take a look at the hunter on the back of his pants. It's because he never seems to get a good start, so he's got to hunt these riders down. His main focus is obviously a great start here for Moto 2.
All right, thanks, Aaron. Moto 1 is already in the books. Let's give you the highlights. 30-second card goes sideways, and this season is underway. A lot of questions about Chad Reed after a rough Supercross season. He answers some of the questions right off the bat. He's motivated for motocross. He's got the whole shot.
Well, and there was also the question whether or not the 800 of Mike Alessi on that new KTM 350 would be able to get the start, and he came out the gate in 3rd.
43 of Stephen Clark is down, and he's in last. And then Andrew Short, one of the would-be championship contenders, is down early as well. He would come back for 15th, disappointing in Moto #1.
And watch this as Josh Grant's trying to make the move on Townley. Watch how he threads the needles here. Just goes over the markers and back across. That was for 4th.
Dungey would stall on lap 2. A few more mistakes coming through traffic. A disappointing 10th for the new Supercross champ.
And watch Metcalfe here. He just foot clips the rut, does a little knack-knack, gets back on the track and back on attack.
He was going after Josh Grant. Then Grant would pass Alessi for 3rd, and then the last lap go after Davi Millsaps for 2nd place. A clutch move by Josh Grant to take 2nd, but there was no answer for Chad Reed, your first Moto winner of the season. Obviously, Reed's happy about that, defending the #1 plate in the best possible fashion he can with a victory. Now it's time for our Rocky Mountain keys to the race, Jeff. Let's talk about Ben Townley, what he has to do today in his comeback.
Well, Townley definitely needs to get a better start. Inside the top 5, I think he would be happy with. Okay, also, if he can do that, he has a chance of running the pace with the leader. He had some good lap times, okay, not quite with the leader. And if he can, latch onto the leader and run that pace, and then, of course, finish the moto. He's trying to build a foundation. Remember, Rome wasn't built in a day. Right now, he's coming back after almost 2 years off. So he needs to finish all the laps, all the motos today.
6th in Moto 1 for Townley. I'd say that's right where he wants to be.
That's a
solid
great
run.
start,
Yep.
no doubt.
Has not raced since Hangtown in 2008. And was out for almost a year and a half with a shoulder injury, and then has spent the last 6 months preparing for this. Here we go, folks. The Rockstar Energy Drink Hangtown Classic. Guess who? The 350cc KTM of Mike Alessi has the start.
Well, I guess the questions have been answered. KTM has delivered a brand new machine, which is out front here in Moto 2 at Hangtown. And Alessi knows how to finish at this track. He knows how to get it done.
Davi Millsaps second early on here, and it's Townley up to 3rd and making moves on Ryan Sipes. Sipes going to try to get Townley back, and he does.
Shorts in there, Mike Brown. Kyle Regal up front, Metcalfe. Reed mid-pack.
Yeah, Reed on the right side of your screen, just inside the top 10. Oh, Townley stuffs Mike Brown to take the number 4 spot back. And Andrew Short's going to try to get them both on the outside of the 29.
Wow, look how chewed up the track is, Jason. And by the end of this moto, it is going to be so difficult and so challenging. You can see as Townley trying to get that Troy Lee Honda turn left and headed back down the hill. This is a good start here for Short. This is exactly what he needed after that first moto finish.
Townley back in the thick of things for sure. Welcome back to racing. He's got pressure from all angles as he goes after Ryan Sipes in front and has to deal with his old Honda teammate Andrew Short behind him. Mike Alessi going to try to pull away from his old buddy Davi Millsaps. He's in the number 1 spot.
Yeah, and remember, Short was 15th in the first moto. I'm telling you, the key word of the day is contrast. It is just, I just have a feeling that this whole moto is going to be mixed up from what we saw in the first moto.
Yeah, Josh Grant, remember, finished second in Moto 1. If he can finish out for the Reed here, he can win the overall for the day. Look at Townley going back after Sipes.
Whoa, Townley getting crazy. Had the Honda totally sideways there as he was trying to make a move on Sipes.
Going to make that move. Keep on 2 wheels and then almost comes together with Short. That's what it's like on the opening lap. The first moto, folks, I think the riders were feeling each other out. Not here in Moto 2. They're going for it.
Well, Mike Alessi's across the line.
3.5 seconds to lead. Alessi over Millsaps.
Sipes, Townley, Short, Ken de Dijker from Belgium. They're running in 6th here in Moto number 2.
You got Kyle Regal, Brown, Metcalfe, and Reed is in 10th at the end of lap 1, and Dungey is 13th. So another tough start for the new Supercross champ. And Josh Grant is 14th. So the contenders that we thought would be going for the win coming into this race are in the back. It's a golden opportunity for guys like Alessi. No one was really sure what to expect from the 350. I think we're pretty sure now. It's the same old Mike Alessi.
Alessi and Millsaps have got the start that they needed. Townley is a solid position there in 4th. I mean, I know this is a long moto, but if you could try to, frame this, that would be your top 3 in the overall. We still have 35 minutes of racing left to go, 30 plus 2 laps. There's going to be a lot of action between now and the checkered flag.
There's Reed, like we said, just inside the top 10. He got the whole shot and checked down in Moto 1. It's not going to be that easy here in Moto 2. He's going to be eating a lot of roots.
And remember how clean he was in the first moto? Just no mud on him at all. Front number plate was clean. Just rode his own race. Right now, he's getting roosted from all angles with dirt, rocks,
and rice holes.
Rice holes, which they've coated the track with to help hold the moisture.
Here's Reed battling it out with Mike Brown.
Well,
2001 125 national champ.
And it's slippery, right? Coming down off that left-hander. Seen Brown getting a little bit sideways as he was trying to hammer the throttle.
And just in front of these guys is Brett Metcalfe. And a little bit further up is 41 and Kyle Regal now on a Honda. They're racing Yamahas in Supercross. Reed's got to get through all those guys to move to the front of the pack and try to salvage an overall today. Reed still unable to pass Brown. And not far behind him, I see one of the Suzukis lurking back there. And that is indeed Ryan Dungey. So we've got the Reed and Dungey battle we're looking for, but unfortunately it's for 10th and 11th.
Dungey moving up. He was 13th last lap around. Already moved up 3 spots.
All right, your leader is Alessi, Millsaps second, Sipes, Townley, and Tedesco now into the top 5. He was the original wild man of motocross. Danny Magoo Chandler came blazing out of Northern California in the late 1970s and turned the motocross world and himself upside down. This tornado of raw talent never shut off the throttle and never backed down from the competition. Anytime, any place, anywhere, Magoo was not afraid to hold it wide open. And although those accidents often led to crashes and often led to mistakes, he didn't care. That was the way he rode, all out, all the time. When it came together, he was nearly unstoppable, as he was at the 1982 Motocross Nations when he swept all 4 motos. Unfortunately, a crash in 1985 would end his career, and his life came to an end with sudden, sad abruptness. Danny Chandler died in his sleep at age 50 on May 4th. Godspeed, Danny Magoo Chandler.
Welcome to Progress.
Continues to lead here at the Hangtown Classic. And you would think we're halfway through the moto, judging by the lead he's built up here, Jeff, but we're just getting started.
I'll tell you, the first moto here was pretty tight all the way through, but at the moment, Alessi is running a 2:16 lap time, 5 seconds ahead of Millsaps, and he is the fastest rider on the track by a couple of seconds. So he is absolutely flying out here on this brand new bike, the KTM 350.
We say brand new, it's not just brand new because the engine displacement is different. Radically new for KTM. Their first fuel-injected motocross bike and their first motocross bike in over 20 years with a linkage for the rear shock. Considering all the new developments, it's amazing this bike is ready to race, as they like to say, right from the get-go.
Well, and those of us that have been around for a while, you know that Stefan Everett's multi-time world motocross champion is right at the forefront of this team and heading up this project. Had quite a bit of influence on what's happening there at KTM, and no doubt that that's had a huge effect on the success of this bike.
And Everts, the king of motocross in Europe, is here today watching Mike Alessi, and he's got to be pleased with his young student right now.
Working. You know, Mike's a great guy to have on this bike. They have a great team put together. They have basically a one-man team in the 250 class and one here in the 450.
There's Millsaps in the number 2 spot. Not able to hang with Alessi, at least early on, but in position to score solid points today. If it ended like this, Alessi would just edge Millsaps for the overall, but we've got a lot of racing to go. You see the countdown clock at the top of your screen. 22 minutes plus and 2 laps in this moto.
Last lap around, Millsaps was close to 7 seconds behind Alessi, and he was at a 2:16. Alessi was about a second faster.
Sipes, Townley, Tedesco, short, Metcalfe. And there is Reed battling it out with Kyle Regal. So Reed not exactly marching to the front here, a little more methodical the way he's approached this.
The first moto action was pretty out of control. There was a lot of lines. Now this moto here, you see some of these guys are just funneling right in there. Track's so difficult. And do you see how much rice hole?
Can't see.
I mean, that was incredible. The roost there that Chad Reed was taking. And just such a contrast from Moto 1 where he was just out front, clear sailing. I mean, just effortless moto for Chad Reed.
And Reed has Josh Grant right behind him. And who knows how this can affect the overall. In fact, looks like Grant's tired of waiting. He's going to go after Reed. Shows him a wheel here on the inside. Grant on the muscle-built Toyota Show Gibbs racing machine. And he is so aggressive. He's always aggressive. The first moto, he told us he actually pulled all his tear-offs on accident in the very first lap. So he had virtually zero vision all the way to the end. Let's go down to Aaron Bates, who's got a report. Go ahead, Aaron.
Well, you guys, it's perfect racing conditions out here right now with 63 degrees. The track is immaculate, but the wind has just picked up. The trees are starting to blow. The flags are blowing. With all the elevation changes that are taking place on this track, Jeff, could this affect the riders at all?
Well, it certainly could, and more so than anything is it will dry out the track in some spots. And over some of those bigger jumps where they get a little bit of air, if that's a crosswind, you kind of, you know, the riders know how to deal with it, but it's going to blow them from one side or the other.
Look at this competition. Nose to tail, this entire group. Short, Regal, Reed, Grant. And behind Grant is Dungey. But that does mean that, yes, Dungey, remember, was behind Reed. Grant's actually passed Dungey. So a bit of a disappointing day for Ryan Dungey so far.
And as you look at Reed here, trying to work his way past Regal with Grant just behind him, this is the battle for the overall, essentially.
Yeah,
if they move up a couple more positions, so these guys are trying to win the overall here at Hangtown, and they're going to have to do it coming through traffic. I mean, this is, and Reed has to know that Grant's there. He showed him a wheel already, but these guys have to keep moving forward.
Yeah, still be working the calculators just as hard as they are the motorcycles at the end of this one, because we take the first and second moto and combine the scores together, and it's all sorts of mixed up. What did you say about contrast today, Jeff? That's exactly what we're getting. Well, completely different.
Yeah, this is an incredible moto already here, and Regal putting in a fine ride here because Reed had closed up on him, and that kind of motivated him. Now Reed hasn't really been able to make a move, and you can see that just in front of Regal is Short, Metcalfe, the Diker, and Sipes.
Well, yeah, absolutely. Regal behind him are three of the biggest hitters in the game. Reed, Grant, and Dungey. And so far, none of them have been able to bust through. Regal's a full privateer right now, and here goes Reed to the inside. And he finally makes the move on the young Texan.
And just behind Regal now, he's going to get tons of pressure as Grant and Dungey are right there.
Yeah, there's no rest for the weary if you're Kyle Regal. You think, all right, well, that's Reed. I can let him go, and then I'll just deal with the other guy. Not going to happen. Not if it's Grant, not if it's Dungey. So Chad Reed heading toward the front, but he's still in only 8th place as Mike Alessi tries to get away with the lead. Let's see how far up in the order Reed can go. Can he get far enough to win the overall? Time will tell. Mike Alessi leads it here at Hangtown on that new 350cc motorcycle. Looks good so far.
24 hours.
Here's your leader at Hangtown, Mike Alessi. It's a revolution in the making, Jeff. This is the 450 class and a rider on a 350. The first one anyone's ever made.
Not too often that somebody chooses to have less displacement in any form of motorsports, but that's exactly what KTM and Mike Alessi have done.
All right, so what does Mike expect coming in here on this brand new bike? We had a chance to talk to him about that. Here's Mike Alessi on 2010.
I feel good, and I feel like I'm 100%, ready to go. My body, physically, my bike, endurance, everything feels good this season, and I feel like I'm ready. The last 2 years, I've came out maybe too strong in the beginning, and it just hasn't worked. I feel like this year, I need to be the guy who's making points every moto, every race. I feel really comfortable on my bike. I'm really confident in my bike this year. Honestly, I think the bike's going to be an advantage. I think that the 450 seems like, to me, when I've ridden the 450 in the past, it wears you out. You get pretty tired towards like the end of the moto. And I think that the 350, you can keep charging, you can keep pushing, and that last 10 minutes where the 450 guys are starting to just barely hold on, I think that that's where the advantage is going to come into play. And I'd love to start off the season this year like I ended last year, being strong, right out of the gate. I'm not going to put any emphasis on what my goal is going to be at Hangtown. The only thing that I can say as a goal that I'm going to have at Hangtown is just to ride my own race and to have fun. I think that when I'm having fun, that's when I seem to always ride my best. And like I did at Freestone last year at Texas, just going out there and just riding because you just love it. Not just going out there because it's, it's your job. Just to go out there and have fun and love what you're doing. That's how I want to start the season out.
That's always been the question about the Alessi program. They work so hard. They take this so seriously. People have always wondered, is fun a part of their game at all? Looks like it might be this year.
It's fun to go out and win a national motocross event, I can tell you that.
That's true. Well, he's enjoying it. There were a lot of skeptics about this machine. I don't think any of those skeptics are talking right now. He has a 10.5-second lead over Millsaps. And unless Reed can make it up to 3rd or better, the 4-1 moto score for Alessi would be enough for the overall. So it's looking good on all fronts for Alessi right now.
So that's the gauntlet for Reed. He sets in 7th place right now.
Got to get
He
third.
needs 3rd. if Mike Alessi wins the Moto. But such a strong ride right now. Ben Townley must have been listening in. He's doing exactly what I thought that he needed to do for this Moto, and we'll see how he can finish it off and finish, if he can get all the way to the checkered flag and stay inside the top 5. That'll be a solid race for him.
Here's 5th, 6th, 7th. Ryan Sipes, Andrew Short, Chad Reed, Sipes. Great runs on a 250 in Supercross this year, but looks just as comfortable on the big bike here outdoors, duking it out with some of the big names from the big factory teams. Sipes has always been fast, there's no doubt about that. It's always been a matter of consistency and keeping it on 2 wheels.
Yeah, but there's been something different this year. Different as in better different about Ryan Sipes than I've seen in the past. I don't know exactly what that is, other than that the results are there, and he just seems to be more comfortable and more confident in his racing program.
And he holds off Short for another lap, so still the top 5 Sipes. 4th is Metcalfe, 3rd is Townley. So Reed's got to get in there and mix it up with those riders to try to salvage the overall. Man, is this track rough? Short has to go off the main line.
Hey, I'm telling you what I wouldn't want to be right now, and that's a rear shock on one of these bikes, because you're getting beat up, okay? Just worked so hard. And it's nice and smooth right through here. This is a start area where they come through and fix it, so that's nice and safe for the beginning of the motos. But here's Reed trying to square up Short. Can he cut back to the right one more time?
Gonna be a big left-hand sweeping uphill corner. Will Reed try to cut back to the inside?
Cut to the inside's the line. I'm telling you, these guys are now trying to stay tight here coming up this that hill. But for Reed and Short for that matter, they're getting so much loose there.
What a move by Reed. He just would not give that up. With just 3 or 4 corners, finally made the pass. So he's up to 6th. Here's the determination of a champion right there. As Reed puts Short behind him and goes after Ryan Sipes to get in the top 5.
Well, and for Reed, man, he is moving forward right now.
All right, we'll keep our tabs on Reed, Sipes, and of course the leader, Mike Alessi. It's going to be a battle of math to see who wins the overall here at Hangtown.
Truckers know.
Next Sunday, Formula One is on speed. In Turkey, ancient traditions collide with Western civilization, and the modern warriors of F1 will battle for a spot atop the gilded podium, and the world will be watching. The Formula One Turkish Grand Prix live next Sunday at 7:30 a.m. exclusively on Speed. But an Australian in the last couple rounds of that tour, and an Australian here, Chad Reed, would like to get a win under his belt here at Hangtown, but he's going to have to move up to 3rd. He's not going to win this Moto, no way. Mike Alessi is gone unless Alessi and Millsaps and these guys throw it away. Reed's going to have to hope that he can get far enough forward in the running order in this Moto to win it based on math. How about this battle, Jeff? For 2nd, Ben Townley closing on Millsaps.
But Millsaps, this has been a solid ride all day. He's been right in there. He's got great starts. Rode his type of race. Didn't win the first Moto, but he's been right in there, riding strong the whole time. This is an excellent ride for the number 18 on the Red Bull Honda of Millsaps.
I'm going to give a shout out to the one-on-one. Ben Townley, last time we saw him was right here at Hangtown in 08. He had a shoulder injury. He tried to ride through it. He crashed, and many people thought called it a career at that point. He basically went back to his native New Zealand and disappeared. He was a teammate of Millsaps at the time. He actually told Honda, don't pay me. I'm leaving, I'm done, I need to recover. I'm terminating my own contract. I need time to clear my head and get back into this game. And in his very first race back right now, he's right where he used to be, in a podium position.
That's certainly what he has done, and his life has changed so much since then. His wife Lucy, they've had a baby. They have Levi here, little boy. He's on this new team here with the Troy Lee Honda team, and right now he's pressing Millsaps. He's got it on the outside.
Let's see if Millsaps can fight on the inside.
Nope. Millsaps squares him up here. Some yellow flags out. Let's see who's down. Rider off the track there. What a pass here, and what a ride for Ben Townley.
All right, so Ben Townley, who you talked about at the beginning of this Moto, what he needed to do, Jeff. Let's talk about it again on Rocky Mountain Keys to the Race.
Top 5 start, check. Run the pace of the leader. Right now, he's at a 2:19, unless it's 2:18. I'm going to call that good. And all that he has left to do is finish this Moto here. And if he can do that, not quite sure how the math is going to add up, but that's going to be a solid, maybe even a podium finish here.
Yeah, Townley was 6th in Moto 1, so since it's all mixed up with Grant right now in 10th and Reed in 6th, who knows how it's going to turn out as far as the math goes. Reed, as you mentioned, up to 6th. Let's give you a little bit of a progress report on your champion, still dealing with a very stubborn Ryan Sipes.
Well, and if they finish like they are right now, it's going to be really close between a lot of riders, 4th, 3rd. Alessi and Millsaps would be right there, but I got a feeling it's not going to finish up like it is, not the way Chad Reed is pushing his way through the pack here.
Right now, the overall is Alessi, Millsaps, Reed on points, but the only rider who can really gain anything right now is Reed. Alessi's already getting maximum points out front. Oh, Reed! Where the heck did he find that line?
Wow, he had the line there, just came in hot. And I gotta say, but Sipes left the door wide open on that one, and in that turn, there's 2 lines that actually crisscross right at the apex, and that could have been bad news if Sipes had tried to stay in it.
Next on the list for Reed, if he can hold off Sipes, will be fellow Australian Brett Metcalfe. Metcalfe on his debut on a 450, and we mean debut ever. In Australia growing up, he didn't ride a 450 there either, so a pretty good run for the number 24, who is right there on the right side of the screen.
Well, this has been a fantastic ride for him. It suited him well. He's been strong and fit all through the day. Metcalfe 5th in the first moto, running 4th right now, and this has got to be just in his game plan. Top 5s, build a foundation. This is the early part of a 12-race series, 24 motos total.
Matt Moss.
Little brother.
That is Matt Moss, the factory Suzuki rider, making his debut in the U.S., was injured and missed the entire Supercross tour. Said he was less than 100% coming in today. Aaron, do you have a report there on Matt?
Yeah, guys, well, actually, Matt was offering just to talk to us. Matt, obviously your debut didn't go as planned. Tell us exactly what went on out there.
Yeah, I'm suffering with a lot of arm pump, and you know, I just didn't feel very strong at all, and I come together with a guy, he landed on my wrist, and it's that wrist I've had 2 operations on. It hasn't got much movement, so it might be broken again, but I'm not sure.
Best of luck to you, regroup. Hopefully we'll see you back next weekend.
Wow, that is so tough for Moss there. He's got a chance to ride, got his chance, if you will, on the Rockstar Makita Suzuki, had an injury, and now possibly another injury, but to jump into this class for being a fairly young guy coming from Australia, I mean, that's like being thrown to the wolves, and you can tell just things were happening today a lot quicker than what he could process.
Coming into this race, a lot of talk about Chad Reed versus Ryan Dungey. Right now, Reed is in 5th, Dungey is in 9th. Mike Alessi has checked out. He's got a 12-second lead over Ben Townley, Davi Millsaps, Brett Metcalfe, and then Reed in 5th. Not what we expected at Hangtown. Gasoil AMA Pro Motocross Championship. Welcome back. Good news for Chad Reed. Ben Townley has made a mistake and has dropped back to the number 6 spot. So Reed moving forward and now in position, possibly win the overall. He doesn't have to make many more passes. He gets Metcalfe in front. That will put him into 3rd. And a 3-1, or sorry, he would have a 1-3, which would be Alessi's 4-1.
Well, Reed's charging right now. You see the bike jumping around a little bit on him, but for the most part, it seems like Chad and the bike and this Kawasaki 450 are really working together. And he's got some awesome lines on the track, like I said, right now with, looks like 2 minutes, so we probably have 3 more laps to go in this moto. And Chad Reed's pushing forward, and he'll get the signal from his mechanic, and he needs this 1 extra spot here, which is Brett Metcalfe, if he's going to take the overall home here. But still, oh, did you see how big that rock was that got kicked out? That's a difficult section through there, not only to ride, but then if you're riding behind somebody, just getting pelted with these rocks that are like the size of baseballs through there. On this hillside, it's hard to keep the good soil, the good soft, mulchy soil in there. You can see the lower spots have tons of mulch and rice hole.
Yeah, you can't exactly take a tractor up the side of the steep hills and disc that dirt up real deep.
And watch this here. Watch as Reed comes around this bottom sweeper. He starts to square it up, and you can see all those little white spots. Watch right here. It gets kicked out right about here. Easily the size of a softball.
Shrapnel.
Yeah.
But it doesn't slow down Reed too much. Here he comes on Metcalfe. Going to go to the inside. Wow, that was quick.
That's the move for the overall. And watch what Reed does. Oh, last lap around, he actually tripled through there.
Now, I'm not sure if they've given it the map from the pit board or not, but Reed might have enough time to go after Millsaps anyway. He doesn't need it, but it's still more championship points.
Yeah, that's exactly, at this point, yes, you want to win the overall and all that stuff, but it's so early, and when you think about the overall championship, look at Metcalfe trying to drive it back in there. To get back to my point here is that you're thinking of points all the way through. And don't worry about the position or the overall, because if you get the points, focus on getting the points, you know, moving up. By the end of the championship, you could be the champion.
Right, for example, right now, Reed would edge Alessi in the points by 2 points today, but if he gets around Millsaps, he could edge him by 4.
Well,
He'd
and
rather have a 4-point lead than a 2-point lead.
And look at the clock here. It's going to 0 right now, so Alessi did not make it around. We still have 3 more laps.
3 laps. Let's see how far forward Reed can go. Will he go after Millsaps? Can he hold off Metcalfe? He's not going anywhere. Lots of exciting racing left from Hangtown. Mike Alessi tries to get away. Reed goes after Millsaps.
June 4th, we
Still challenging Chad Reed. As soon as Reed got in the number 3 spot, you figured it was over. This is the challenge Medi wanted. He moved up to the big class, and he is not intimidated by these guys.
He's got some great lines right now, too. You can see having Chad Reed come by him just really has lit a fire there, and he is going for it. And that's good. That's good for both riders, because Millsaps is about 11 seconds behind the leader, and he's only about 4 seconds in front of Reed right now. And so that could possibly, that's going to motivate both riders up there, and that could be bad news for Davi Millsaps, who sits in second at the moment.
Now, the gap is fairly sizable right now. It's about 4 seconds between Reed and Millsaps, but with 3 laps to go, they can reel him in. Who's that number 5 guy in the Suzuki? 7th place right now. We've barely even seen him in this moto. Ryan Dungey, a major struggle today, 10th in Moto 1. Man.
Well, he has had to ride from the back of the pack all day long.
Aaron, what have you got on Dungey?
Well, you guys, when I spoke with the team earlier, come to find out, because he was so focused on the Supercross Championship, he really didn't log in as many hours as he normally would testing for outdoors. He's been struggling all day long, trying to get comfortable on the bike. Mike Gossler, his mechanic, has made multiple changes with the suspension. He's just not exactly feeling himself today, but hopefully he will be able to turn it around before the end of the season.
Now, what's actually interesting about that is Dungey thought, since he rocked the Supercross title early, that he'd get a little bit more of a head start on outdoor testing than he expected. Hasn't been the case.
Has not been the case, but Dungey, he's a warrior, he's fit, he knows what's going on. Uh-oh, here comes Short, trying to make the move. Can he square him up? He hammers it. No.
Off the side of the track goes Short.
Oh, he gets it.
I did not think he could make that work. I had no idea. Townley trying to come back. They scrub it together. And Short able to secure that number 5 position. And this is one of those situations the riders always talk about. You can test and train and practice all you want, but Townley, to get that 30 minutes plus 2 fitness race style back, might take a few races.
Well, and Townley's going to have all that he can handle right now as they get through some lappers, 2 to go, and it's Dungey pressuring Townley now. Oh man, he has had such a good ride, but that one mistake, he dropped 3 or 4 positions there, that really cost him.
And meanwhile, Josh Grant, who was so spectacular second in Moto 1, is 10th here in Moto 2. Basically, once he got there, was unable to move forward. So Jeff Hemming had been saying all day long, this will be a race of contrast. Don't expect Moto 1 and Moto 2 to be carbon copies of each other, and that's exactly what has happened here at Hangtown. The riders who were up front in Moto 1 were not in Moto 2.
Well, and the 29 here is a perfect example.
Yeah,
he was 15th in the first Moto, and now he's running 5th.
Now here's what made this Moto different from the first. The whole shot. Jeff, take us through the progressive whole shot replay.
Watch the 800. It's going to be the orange bolt of lightning just exploding out here as he gets to the first turn. And I was questioning whether the lack of the 100cc difference was going to be more than what the KTM could take. But I'm telling you, this bike's dialed in. And it doesn't hurt that Mike Alessi is one of the best guys out of the gate that our sport's ever seen.
Now, one of the shorter starts here at Hangtown. It would be different on some other tracks, a longer start stretch. Might that be more of a disadvantage?
I would have to think that if it was deep and muddy, where it really pulls the horsepower and the torque out of the engine, that would be the true test. But this starts plenty deep. It's nice, deep, and loamy. And Alessi just got the KTM 350 hooked up. He's great. He's got great reaction time. He knows how to put the power to the ground across the gate, and he knows how to get his shifts, and he got it done here in Moto 2.
And beyond the start, Mike Alessi now with a lap to go, the only rider that put in a 2-minute, 15-second lap time. Now he's back down to the 220s. Mechanic Kelly puts the signboard out, but he has the fastest lap of this moto. That's going to be the Rockstar Energy Drink fast lap for Mike. Reed is going to win this overall, though, with a 1-3, but that's the way the points would stack up. That's the championship points race. It's going to be close going into our next race, the Freestone National in Texas in 2 weeks.
Yeah, this is a great ride for Alessi. Great ride for Reed to come from behind to really show what he's made of. Had the first moto easy, now he's had to work for it. Alessi battled through the first moto, and now he's had the easy one in the second time around. But I think that this really, it's a great example of what type of racing we're going to have all season long here.
Nothing better than having a bunch of questions and not answering them all. We haven't seen Reed and Alessi, for example, be able to battle head-to-head. We have obviously not seen everything that Ryan Dungey has.
Oh, look at that run coming out of there. They come out of that little riser out up to the right-hander, and they hammer the throttle, and then there's still about 50 feet of rut that they have to get through. That's a difficult section there. And when you're on, the bike's perfectly balanced, no problem. You just seem like you go through there, you never touch your inside foot, no problem at all. You don't high side the bike or low side, but when you're off, that rut seems like a mile long because you're putting your foot down, you're dragging it behind you. The bike's trying to high side or low side. None of that for Alessi here in Moto 2. He has been dialed in.
Like we said, fastest lap time for Moto, got the whole shot. Lead of about 5.5 seconds over Millsaps. That's because Alessi has really backed it down. It was over 10 seconds at one point. It is as dominant could be for Chad Reed in Moto 1 and for Mike Alessi in Moto 2. That sets up a great championship fight throughout the summer, coast to coast here in the United States. So glad we'll have the coverage here on Speed. And if there's Stefan Emerson, everyone that came over from Austria to watch Alessi make the debut of this 350cc motorcycle, he won't win the overall, but really, you can't ask for much more than this.
Yeah, but being strong in the second moto, that's what Alessi stated, is that I think it takes less energy to ride this bike, and overall, I think I can go as fast on it, if not faster, and he's proved that today.
Well, the Mike Alessi experiment is obviously in play. The 350 wins here at Hangtown. Davi Millsaps, a solid run, finishes second. Chad Reed takes third from deep in the pack. He will take the overall win. Great racing here at Hangtown. Mike Alessi's happy, so is Chad Reed. We'll be right back to talk to our winners. Tomorrow night, see the greatest performances of Fast Track to Fame in one revved-up hour of entertainment. Don't miss Fast Track to Fame tomorrow night at 9 Eastern, only on Speed. Welcome back to Northern California's Rockstar Energy Drink Hangtown Classic. And you know why Mike's doing a wheelie there? He wants to show off the linkage on the bottom of that bike.
That's right.
Got him to victory lane. It's time for the Lucas Oil race recap, and we will show you how Mike Alessi got this Moto 2 victory. And it started with the start, Jeff.
No doubt, the 800 on the new 350 KTM rockets out of the start. Whole shot in Moto 2.
Chad Reed not a rocket out of the start, outside the top 10. Here he's fighting with Andrew Short, Ryan Sipes. Those guys were stubborn. He would eventually work his way into the top 3, which was huge for overall points.
Reed kept pushing forward, and watch this move here on Sipes. Just moves him out of the way. One more spot, kept moving forward.
Here he is taking out Brett Metcalfe. This would be the pass for the overall. That would put Reed into the number 3 spot. And with a first and a third today, Reed would edge Alessi, who had a 4th, and this first in Moto 2. But Alessi, you win on a brand new motorcycle. You don't care if it's the overall, a Moto, whatever. He is happy.
No doubt about it. Just a fantastic job for Alessi and Team KTM.
It's your Lucas Oil race recap here from Hangtown. We'll give you the results. Lots of fans on hand, perfect weather, great racing, and all the superstars of motocross in action. That's exactly what these folks wanted. Let's go down to Aaron on the podium. Aaron?
Chad Reed comes back, defends that #1 title in dominating fashion. Chad, take us through exactly a rough start for you. Did you realize that you were going to be able to capitalize on Ben Townley's mistake for the overall?
Oh, you know, I was just trying to get forward. It was real hard. You know, everybody I was around, you know, just no one could really pass, and track was rough, and they did an awesome job. So great start to the season. Last year we were chasing our tails, and you know, I learned that it's a hell of a lot easier to get out front, not put yourself in the middle of the pack. So congrats to everyone, all the Monster Energy Kawasaki guys. Thank you, Dunlop. man, everyone, Thor, Parts Unlimited, my wife, Tate here. It's a blast.
Congratulations on starting the season off on the right foot.
That's the new good luck charm.
Yeah, the
Son
new good
Tate,
luck.
first race, Chad wins it. Here's our Toyota moving forward schedule. We'll be in Texas in 2 weeks on speed. Then the High Point National in Mount Morris, Pennsylvania, covered on NBC, and also the 250 class on speed. Then we'll go to Budds Creek, Maryland, and Lakewood, Colorado. That's the upcoming rounds of this tour. Definitely going to be exciting the way the stage has been set here at Hangtown. Be back with more podium interviews after this. An exciting day of racing here at Hangtown. Mike Alessi's done with his victory lap.
June 4th, the NASCAR Camping World.
The podium, and also go through our Geico moment of the race. Huge crowd. Look at the sky. It's like a painting. Unbelievable. Here's our Geico moment of the race. Chad Reed wins the first moto, and that would set the stage. Only needed the third in Moto number 2 to win the overall today, and he goes in the record books with another victory. And we go down to the podium with Aaron.
Talk about a night and day difference for Davi Millsaps from starting from last year. You made your way back up here. Davey, take us through. Obviously, your eyes are just bloodshot right now. What exactly went on? Did you lose your goggles in those conditions?
I don't know. No, I didn't lose my goggles at all. It's Scots are working good. I just don't know what happened. And I can't see right now, and I couldn't see a little bit in the moto. But I couldn't have done it without American Hunter Rebel Racing, my mechanic Carlos, my trainer Johnny, and Scott Gear, Scott Goggles, AGV helmets. Thank you. And I just want to thank everyone that's been behind me all year, and it's just a good start to a good season. I'm just looking forward to it.
Great job well done. And Mike Alessi coming up here manages to pull off what everyone, the skeptics, didn't think that you might possibly be able to do on that 350. What does this mean not only to you but for the team?
You know what? I think we answered a lot of questions today in how the 350 is. We just showed them it can get the start. I pulled away a huge, 15 seconds, checked him in. At the end, I saw Davey coming, but I wasn't that worried. I knew he was there. I just cruised the last 3-4 laps, and I think we answered a lot of questions today, and a lot of people's doubting the 350 and the starts. I think that's done. I think the KTM's a great motorcycle. I want to thank them, Jägermeister, Red Bull, my family, my friends, Alpine Stars, X Goggles, Aero helmets, the good Lord Jesus Christ for keeping me, safe and being so good to me. And I just want to thank everybody again. Can't do it without them.
Mike, you proved the start was the key. Talk about at the end of the race, you said that having a lighter bike, 100 displacement cc difference. How much of a difference did that make later in the race?
A little easier to ride. It's a little lighter than the 450, and it just shows. It's easier to ride, and I think that a lot of people need to go out and buy one because they're the best motorcycle out right now, no doubt about it.
Congratulations to you and your team.
Fuel your passion for racing with Speed Mobile. Get the latest motorcycle racing news and results as soon as they become available, sent right to your phone. Text Moto to Speed 3 for Speed Motorcycle Racing text alerts.
I just had to come through,
Well, we mentioned how close this championship is going to be as we head into our next race at Texas. Here's the example. Look how close the point standings are between the top 3.
Pretty tight there in the top 3, and there's so many races left here. But the run key thing here is, you look down here, is Ryan Dungey way down in 8th with only 26 overall points for the day. Typically, he's used to getting 25 in a moto for a win.
Yeah,
so
you're right.
no doubt he's going to have to pick it up.
Remember last year, we had 7 different winners, and every time someone seemed to seize control of this championship, they would throw it away. So you never know. You're going to have to stay tuned to us on Speed all summer long to watch this championship chase unfold. But we know how it turned out at Hangtown. The 350 wins, and so does Chad Reed. What a great day of racing it was here in Northern California. For everyone here at Speed, including Aaron Bates, Jeff Emig, and Jason Wygant, thanks for joining us here. Of course, go to speedtv.com for more information on this. And congratulations out to Mike Alessi and Chad Reed, our moto winners here at Hangtown. Thanks for watching.